Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, dollar has gonna
I'll tell you a good one. I haven't said this to you. I often, when I start descending on a flight, I basically work every second I'm on a flight or rest. It's like full extremity. I won't like watch TV. I'll just think, or I'll just like bang on email. But when we go into descent, I really, really, really like looking down at the world, and just like looking at how like neighborhoods were built, like how where's there like silly stuff like, oh, there's traffic on 95. And something hit me in the last 6 months, the amount of
know what you're gonna
pickleball
say,
courts that, and not only that, actually, now I even forgot this. I was flying back Labor Day. Yeah, I was flying back this Labor Day a couple weeks ago, and I was flying, and I flew over. I was in the Jersey, New York area, and there was a ton of parks we were flying over, and I saw pickleball courts and tennis courts.
Yep.
And I'm a huge tennis advocate fan, and I'm a believer of and. I think pickleballs and paddle is good for racquetball, is good for ping pong, is good for tennis. It's all just good. I think people get confused about things. They think in or, not and. But I got to tell you, I'd be lying if I didn't say how much I was smiling on how every pickleball court was packed. And I think if you look at basketball, and this is like an important comp, because people will say things like, oh, just because a lot of people are playing it, what does that mean? I'm like, it means a lot. One of the reasons I think basketball grew in the last 30 years, there was a lot, 40 years, there's a lot of reasons. But it's hard to play a game of baseball. Like, it's very hard. Like, you need to get like minimally 6 kids to like get a decent something weird wiffle ball thing going, right? Like 2-on-2 basketball is easy. Football, like you can do 2-on-2 football, but like, you know, as you get older, it gets kind of like boring fast. Like, I think the fact that people play basketball leads to people watching basketball. And I think the fact of the matter is, I think all these people that are, especially a very desirable demo, 50, 60, 70 high net worth individuals, I think it bodes extremely well. And just I would say the biggest revelation is it's the first sport that's come along where a 71-year-old grandma can whip the fuck out of her 23-year-old grandson.
That's how
and
I
that
got
is,
started.
yeah, bro, but that is like a profound, I'm gonna say this slow again because I'm probably gonna clip it for people that aren't paying attention. A 71-year-old grandma can whip the physical ass off her 23-year-old grandson in a physical sport.
It just means her grandson probably sucks, but it's true.
But honestly, ish. I think everyone at this table is educated enough. Yes, and that 23-year-old after playing, the scenario obviously is the grandma's been playing a bunch.
Right, correct.
The grandson.
The argument against that always is like, that's not a real sport if a grandma can beat a kid, but like that's not true.
Correct. It's you know, first of all, golf, then you should eliminate golf.
Correct.
Let's just eliminate golf out of sports if that's your argument. And
Right.
two, to your point, it means that the grandma has been playing her ass off in her retirement home. Grandson comes to visit during college, has never played but has hacked around with tennis and ping pong and gets his ass beat.
Yeah, now he's got the bug.
Now he's got the
Everyone's
Yeah,
had
when you
their
lose,
ass
by the way,
beat by
if you have a
Harvey.
competitive bone in your body and your grandma beats you in something,
Right.
you will have the fucking bug.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. That guy was Harvey for me at the Racine Cesar Chavez Center with my dad.
I still remember his name.
I still remember his name because I've never met somebody my age named Harvey.
Right.
That's like 3 generations older than me.
I'm so pumped for Harvey. Like if he knows that you're playing in the league right now, he's like, yo, I whipped that kid.
For sure. Harvey, Lyle, and Al. I do keep in touch with Al.
That's awesome.
Those are 3 names that are like damn near extinct at this point for my generation.
Okay, so Proton pulled a fast one on me. They invited us and a bunch of other creators out to their headquarters in Phoenix, Arizona. I played with the Proton that day. That was maybe like 2 months ago, and I have not stopped playing with it since. So I've obviously tried a ton of paddles. The Proton, to me, it's just different. You know, they say a lot about the durability, the fact that like Andre Deescu was using it for like 3 months in a row, which is unheard of, especially for pros who are changing their paddles like every day. But you just don't have to replace these things. The longevity, the grit, the structure of the paddle, it just holds up. If crazy pop, insane control. So Proton seems to be one of those brands that came out of nowhere in the past year, and now they're one of the most popular paddles, selling out constantly. I just mentioned that Andre Daescu plays with them, but Caitlin Christian, Donald Young, Travis Rettenmeyer, CJ Klinger, the list goes on. All these pros are dominating the courts with paddles that leverage carbon fiber technology from baseball bats for exceptional sound and spin. Following the quick sellout of their Series 1, Proton's Series 2 paddles are now on the scene, claimed to be the softest on the market, providing top-notch control and great feel, winning a lot of medals at PPA events at the 3.0 and 4.0 level. Find Proton paddles exclusively through Pickleball Central. Use our code, THEDINK, to save $25 on your Proton paddle from pickleballcentral.com. That's all caps, THEDINK, for $25 off.
Well, how do you take this from on paper to an actual like cash flow business eventually?
Sponsorships, ticket sales. I mean, the big elephant in the room is the media rights deal, right?
That's the answer to the quiz.
Yeah,
Right.
Like
And
that changes everything.
That's the only thing. I mean, ticket sales and sponsorship is
merch.
a fine
Pivotal,
business,
yeah.
but like the NFL, like when the reason NBA players you never heard of are making $100 million a year on 3-year deals to sit as the 11th man on a bench is because the TV deals have become enormous because of the popularity of basketball, and they only have 15 players to distribute it. You're going to end up being like a bitter old man. You know that, right? Because you're going to be like, there are like legends of the NBA who played in the 70s.
Yeah, like Julius Irving.
Yeah, I mean, like Dr. J sits around and he's like, this fucking dipshit that can't play basketball on the fucking Hawks, the 11th man, made more money in the first 8 games of his season this year than I made in my career. So, I think that's where the money comes from. And by the way, that's the reason I actually invested. Ryan's right. Like it was intuitive. It felt right. I knew Ryan was going to have a lot of passion to be the driving force of the team from a GM standpoint and a minority owner. But what I saw post the investment, which then got me to like really lean in and not let it be just passive, was the clips on social did too well. Mm-hmm. I just could tell that it was exciting. And the MLP pitch, and you know this, was we were going to be a little bit more casual than the tour. And there was an element of like what I think is happening in sports, right? Like my beloved New York Jets, when Mark Gastineau in the early 80s would celebrate a sack, he was lambasted. Mm-hmm. He would like now there's not a single play that happens in the NFL without somebody doing
that's part of practice.
Yeah, like that's right.
Even baseball is breaking out of that trend. You've got guys bat flipping, you guys got everything.
They have to.
And also Gary is obsessed with people that express him. Like he's been a Djokovic fan forever because he likes when people are raw emotion. Mm-hmm. And what's fascinating, I love going in the comments when you see, especially the women in our league.
Yeah.
Come on! They yell more than the men do.
Blasted.
Yeah, but all of them do. Anna Bright, Rachel, Anna Lee, they yell. I love it. He loves it, but it's hilarious to go in the comments and them being like, "That's rude." Like, what?
Sure. Those are tennis fans. Poor Alcaraz fucking smashes his racket in Cincinnati, and fucking like everybody couldn't wait to just take a shit on him.
Right.
It's unbelievable how sad it is to live a life to wait for someone who excels in something to slip up. Like I see it in parenting, back to something I'm passionate about. Like some people have remarkable parents. They make like one maybe a solid mistake, not an atrocious or iconic mistake. They make a solid mistake and the kid fucking dwells on it forever. I'm like, do you understand that your fucking dad is epic? Like I understand you don't like that he did this thing, but why are we talking about this for the last 4 months? And that's how I saw that Alcaraz thing. Like I get that Federer never fucking whatever, but honestly, and you know this, back to like just doing racket nerd talk, I think Federer did a lot of passive aggressive shit in his words, in his comments. Like, and I that was always my stance on him. I'm like, he's appeasing the fucking Wimbledon crowd, but he's being very clever in how, like he actually acts. And so, like to me, I think that I thought that dynamic of trash talk, I think the league should ban Harwood. He's completely. I think he's completely out of control in the sidelines.
He's a fifth player on our
team.
100%.
100%. It's really crazy. He actually makes fun of me because, as you see at the games, I'm very weird. I'm the same way with the Jets. When I care, I get very quiet. ironically. I'm very quiet at the games.
I've seen some pretty interesting clips of you getting a little too fun on
I
this.
can
Usually after the
after, like I get like I especially am. The other thing I've noticed is the other team gets like. Here's the thing. This is why I love Joker. Joker wants the entire center court to hate him. And like I understand that, me too, and that's what gets me off, and I can like dominate. So I'm actually always scared of me getting too excited because I'm concerned about the other guy. Game 7 at the Garden against the Pacers, a friend of mine heckled Halliburton early on, and it triggered him, and he went off, and the game was over. We lost Game 7. Halliburton went bananas.
Most pickleball players don't respond that way. I'll say that.
I don't know.
You can
I
do
know
that.
last
I
year-
think there's a
last
handful.
year
There's
there
a
was
handful
A couple.
that are
Riley.
real athletes and mentally tough, and he's right. The rest are like.
Well,
very
by the way,
thin-skinned.
that I of course I know that. Like the only reason I have decent pickup basketball skills is I just mentally destroy people that I think are soft and like pick on it until they like lose confidence, even though they have 30 times more skill than anybody on the court.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had fun.